What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fitment Industries Garage. I'm Sean, and today we're going to teach you how to calculate what kind of offset you need to fit your wheels inside of your wheel wells. If you're looking for wheels, tires, and or suspension, go to fitmentindustries.com. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so first things first, you're going to want to get your car jacked up safely. You're going to want a jack stand and another jack to support everything. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to jack up your control arm and make sure your suspension's sitting where it would sit on the street before you take measurements. Now, the other thing you got to understand is that you're going to want to measure from the face of your hub. This is going to be where you're going to want to measure everything from. This is going to be the central point of where you calculate your offsets, calculate your back spacing, and your front spacing. After you got all that figured out, you're going to want a tape measure and some sort of straight edge. I have a broken in half yardstick, and it's going to work perfectly. So the first measurement you're going to want to get is your back spacing, and you're going to lay your tool of whatever you choose up flat against your hub, and you're going to want to measure into the first thing that your wheel is going to hit. In my case, I have this weird arm here that connects the lower control arm to the upper control arm. That measurement for me, for my back spacing, is going to be about exactly 7 inches. And then I wrote it down when you guys weren't looking, and we're not going to talk about that. I'm a professional. Hello? The next thing you want to do is measure your front spacing. So you're going to want to put your straight edge back up to that flat surface and measure out to your fender. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. If you want a fender to lip fitment, you can measure to the outside of your fender, but you're probably going to wreck it when you hook that stuff up. I'm going to measure to the inside of my fender and then be a little bit conservative as well. I'm sitting at 3.5 inches to the inside of my fender lip. Now I think it's time for some math. Here I wrote down my back spacing and my front spacing. Now this is for the car, not the wheel. When we add those two together, we're gonna get 10.5 inches. And that's worst case scenario. That's lip to contact. That is not the size wheel you're gonna wanna run. Before we get too far, let's talk about wheel specs, positive, negative, and zero offset. Now, as a general rule of thumb, the advertised wheel width is from bead seat to bead seat. If you order a 9-inch wide wheel like I did, that's going to be from bead seat to bead seat, and the actual width of the wheel from the outside to the outside is going to be 10 inches. So you just got to add an inch to whatever you order. Now let's talk about offset. If you have zero offset, that means the face of your wheel where it mounts to the hub is directly in the center of your wheel. When you move that face towards the outside or the face of the wheel, that's going to be positive offset, and that's actually going to push your wheel in towards the car more. Negative offset is when that hub face is towards the inside of your wheel, and that's going to push the wheel outside of the car more. Math. So if we have 10.5 inches of space in here, you want to be a little bit conservative. I went ahead and chose 9 inches wide for my wheel because that's actually going to have a 10-inch width for the whole wheel width. And that's going to give me about a 1/2 inch of play in here to kind of calculate in with a tire and everything like that to make sure I'm not smashing into anything. Now, if you guys are having trouble trying to figure out this math, if you go to fitmentindustries.com, they actually have a really nice offset and backspacing calculator on the website. And what I did is, since I chose a 9-inch wheel, I put that in as my width, and I went to backspacing. And we know from when we measured that there's a 7-inch backspacing. And that's going to give me a calculated offset of plus 50.8. Now, that plus 50.8 is going to mean that I'm going to be smashing into that bar. So I know that I need to go down a little bit from that. Now, I personally chose a plus 35 offset in the front. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me a little bit of space in the back and a little bit in the front so I don't smash into things. Using the calculator yet again, I put in that I have a plus 35 offset with a 9-inch wide wheel, and that's going to give me a 6.38 back spacing. And we know that since we measured 7, 6.3, it's going to be safe for the wheel, and that's also going to give me a little bit of wiggle room so I can run a fatter tire, which is my goal for this car. With our 6.38 back spacing and a 9-inch wide wheel, that's going to give us 2.62 inches of front spacing on the wheel. Now, I went a little smaller than our total allowance of 3.5 inches because I'm taking into consideration a tire that I want to run, and like I said, I want it to be a little fat, so I need to pull the wheel in a little more to be able to fit that without any rubbing issues. I think the biggest lesson to be learned here, guys, is that you don't want to max out your measurements here. You really want to kind of pull things in, take into consideration your tire, use the calculator on the fitmentindustries.com website for your offset and your back spacing. Use the gallery on the website too to check out what other people are running on their cars. Find something that you like, check out their specs, run the calculator, and make an educated decision for you. Now that we got all of our calculations figured out, we got our wheels and tires ordered from fitmentindustries.com, let's get these bad boys on this car and see how they look. All right, guys, there you have it. That is a 20x9 Vorsteiner VFF 108 with a plus 35 offset. So we got a little bit of room here. This is a 255/30 ZR20. I can just fit my fingers in here. That's gonna allow us to not smash into the fenders. If I didn't have any camber in the front at all, it'd be a super flush fitment, but I'm glad there is. It's pretty close. If I'm going down the road and I hit a bump, this thing would smash right in the fender if I didn't. This is still a pretty aggressive setup, but it's a very dailyable setup. And I would recommend being a little conservative because once you get a tire on here, it closes the gap really, really fast. Make sure you guys are using the wheel offset and backspacing calculator. It'll really help you out when it comes to making sure everything fits right. Make sure to check out fitmentindustries.com for all your wheel, tire, and suspension needs. I'm Sean from Fitment Industries Garage. Peace. If you need wheel tire wheels for your